Okay, today I'm gonna show you a inexpensive pole barn that I kind of developed. Um, when I had the last place, this place was only 10 acres, but the last place we had was 63, and I wanted to build a hay shed. And a friend of mine was tearing down a fence and had a lot of old railroad ties, and he gave them to me, so they were free. And I thought, man, I could probably build a hay shed with them. So that's what I did, and this is the way I did it. I always buried these about 3 to 4 feet deep, and they're they're so treated that they last forever almost. And then I just took regular. These are rough cut boards, but you can use any boards, and screwed them to the railroad tie, and then I left them. I screwed these 2x4s to them, and I just put these every 4 feet to make the track, and so here you just have to put 2x4s on each side and use heavy screws to screw them in. I use those ones with that look like they have a washer on them, and they. I can show them. Oh yeah. Anyway, I use the real heavy ones and it just makes a real solid, and you don't have to use treated lumber above ground, and so all the lumber is above ground, and so and you see back there, it's just, I store my lawnmower and my hay in here, and I just use rough lumber on the roof. The time I built this, it was during COVID, and lumber was high, and I was gonna try and hire it done, but the guys were all busy, so I had to do it myself. I was 76 years old. I ended up building the garage and the machine shed. Let's go around and I'll show you the garage and machine shed. Okay, I made a hybrid garage machine shed. So it's 32 feet wide, 16 feet is my garage, and 16 feet is my machine shed. And I had to have 8-foot doors to get my tractor in there, so I left it 8 foot high. And so this side is just gravel. That side is a poured concrete floor, and that's all framed. And this is all built like the add-on, or it's got the railroad ties. Come around here. Back there. Okay, this side's the pole buildings. And then if you look up there, the truss guy was so busy, I had to build my own, so I used the same rough cut lumber and built my trusses and went over both sides, and it worked out really good. But as you can see, I did the same thing with the railroad ties, and I tried to get them almost 4 foot deep, and I used a string line and to make a straight wall. And I actually, when I did the one at the other place, the hay shed, I had a post hole digger that had a big enough auger that it fit the railroad ties, which made it real easy. But this place was real rocky, and I couldn't use it. And so I had to use the backhoe on my tractor, which is a really good backhoe. And I made holes about 4 foot deep. And then I had the string lined up, and I could put the backhoe on top of the railroad tie inside the bucket, and then I could adjust it and make it level and line it up with a string line. So it worked pretty good. And I just like framed a window and stuff like that. You can see that. But I put the two 2x4s on each side of the railroad tie, and then screwed the rough cut 2x4s to those. So anyway, that's my. I don't know if anybody else has done this. I never heard of anybody doing it, but it sure worked out good for me, especially the first one, because the whole hay shed hardly cost me anything. But I was wanting to talk about our gifts, because when I went to school, I didn't do good in school. I barely made it through, and I'd be the first one down on spelling bees and stuff. So school kind of made me feel like a dummy. And so, and I still have trouble with it a little bit. But when I got to be an adult, I ended up being able to do carpentry. I built a house all by myself without any instruction, and I wired it. A friend of mine, he showed me how to do a little wiring, and ended up I wired the whole house. And I did hire the concrete work done. I've actually built 8 houses, and most of some of my plumbed and wired. Anyway, my point is that we all got gifts, and some people are smart and do the things and can go to college and get real good jobs, but then they can't do hardly anything besides what their job is. But anyway, my point is that we all are gifted in different areas. And I've gotten jobs running machinery, and I run a feller buncher in the woods, logging, and I was good as anybody. I could run dozer, excavators, backhoes, and I'm really pretty good at it. And so the point is, we all have gifts, and we're all different, but we're all special to God, and He's given us our gifts, and we just end up trying to use them to our best of our abilities. In fact, 1 Corinthians 12 through 26 talks about Jesus' body, and it compares people as part of Jesus' body. Some are eyes, some are hands, and we all work together. In other words, the point was we all need each other, and God uses us all in different categories, and none of us is more important than the other. Like Billy Graham, for instance. Now, most people think, well, Billy Graham, man, he's famous and he's important. But if you think about it, he's no more important than anybody else. He was a great man, and I really appreciate him. And he used his gifts and won probably millions of people to the Lord. But if God asked me to do something like these videos, which I don't, I'm not gifted speaker or anything, but I feel like God asked me to do it, and so I did, and hopefully encourage somebody in the Lord. But anyway, I want to encourage you. You got gifts and talents. God loves you just as much as anybody else, and just use your gifts and try and do whatever He asks you to do. So that's my thought for today, and I hope maybe some of you guys can use this and build an inexpensive pole building. Okay.